I'm going to start with Robert Lumia. He's an investment advisor with RBC Dominion Securities, and he provides access to a comprehensive range of services to help you build and protect your wealth. Robert harnesses his expert knowledge and years of experience to develop comprehensive wealth management solutions for his clients. So we are very much looking forward to hearing from Robert. Thank you.
Perfect. So thank you everyone for taking the time to come out this morning. As Jennifer said, my name is Robert Lumia. I'm an investment advisor with RBC Dominion Securities. The perspective I take is a little bit different than I think what most people are used to. In general, what I'm looking to do is make sure that they run a more efficient business from a financial perspective. So looking at things like minimizing fees, minimizing costs, and making sure they keep as much money in their pocket as possible. How this relates to the topic at hand is really, rather than keep the money in their pocket, want to take that money, reinvest it in these eco projects, and then what you can do is generate even more cost savings from the financial side as well as from the efficiencies generated from these eco projects. Now, to do that, I think what we need to do is really, gain some perspective and realize what are we all really trying to achieve. And as you guys saw from this slide, it's really a question of idealized view of puppy dogs and ice cream and rainbows, making sure we live in a much kinder, gentler world. Unfortunately, that's not the world that we live in right now. And the reality looks a lot more like this. Industrialization has had devastating effects on the environment. We've all heard about oil spills and air pollution, Toronto smog, and really it's essential that we start working towards improving our business practices so that we can get back to a more idealized approach. To do that, really, I think it's important that we ask three main questions. And there are three questions that I think really need asking. First of all, what are the benefits to your business? As well as looking at, what do we need to do to get started? And then finally, how can we self-finance these eco projects? Now, when we first look at the first question, which was what are the benefits for your business, everybody in here is either a business owner or obviously works for a corporation. The main objective of any business really is being profitable and generating, and generating capital. If we can't do that, then it becomes much more difficult to justify spending the money, the time, and the effort on these eco projects. The good news is that nowadays more than ever, it's really beneficial for businesses to go out and pay for these eco projects for a whole variety of reasons. First being obviously financial. There's considerable cost savings from the projects, as well as a plethora of other financial benefits. Then obviously it's marketable. Green is in. People definitely want to deal with green businesses. If given the choice between working with a green business and a non-green business, people will almost always decide to deal with a green company. Health benefits, not just for the environment, but for the workplace itself. When we can work in a place that has cleaner air, better lighting, etc., it really generates a much better working environment and in most cases a lot more productivity as well. Obviously there's the environmental benefits as well. Reduce the carbon footprint and really start becoming part of the solution rather than the problem. So now that we know that there are definitely considerable benefits to having a more green business, for a lot of businesses, it's a question of how do we start? What do we do? There's so many different programs, incentives, projects. It can really become daunting. The nice part is that there we go. There's several organizations out there that will help you with this process. PPG obviously is a great one out there, and as Jennifer alluded to, they have several projects that will help you walk into your business, assess what you can do, what projects make sense, as well as a comprehensive database of resources and no-cost programs. Another organization out there is Enviro Stewards. Basically, again, they also help with eco audits and finding all the possible incentive programs for your business. Leapfrog is another organization that I've worked with in the past. They're a little bit different in that they really help companies use sustainability and clean technology as a business advantage through marketing. So they really help you take the next step forward to say, look, we've invested in all these green projects. We're a much more sustainable company. How do we market that and get more business from these activities? and then hopefully get even, be an even larger driver of profit for your business. So as well as the organizations that will actually help you, go into your business and decide what projects are a best fit, there's also a huge amount of incentive programs out there, either by the government, by industry, and whatnot. Some of them are quite substantial. The biggest one that stands out here is Enbridge. They're willing to pay up to 50%, up to $100,000 on certain projects. A lot of projects are free. There's just sky's the limit, which is why I think it's important to deal with it with an organization like PPG or any of the other ones out there, to really assess what the needs are, what the benefits are to your business, and really how you can take those incentives and help pay down the cost. Ultimately, I don't think there's really any incentive program that will pay for all the costs. So at the end of the day, you are left with some costs, which is probably where I come in. And the keyword that I like to use is efficiency. Again, not just from an environmental perspective, but also from a financial perspective. Like a leaky faucet or an old drafty house, there's a ton of inefficiencies in every single business, whether the business owners or employees are aware of it or not. And again, on both sides. So my goal really, when I sit down, as I said at the beginning, when I sit down with business owners, is really to find what these inefficiencies are, shore them up, and pocket that additional money. Here are obviously some examples of some of the strategies that we can use. It's really on a case-per-case basis. I'd love to stand here and give you a case study, but considering the cross-section that we're dealing with and the demographic, there's really no one case study that would kind of answer all the questions. Ultimately, though, when you look at things like, starting off by having a detailed financial plan, which really lays the roadmap and, gives you any red flags of any glaring inefficiencies out there that you can help shore up, investment holding companies, income splitting, dividend distributions, taxes to life insurance, the list goes on and on and on. The goal really is, by the end of doing this, you'll have generated enough money to essentially pay for the remaining cost of the projects. And in most cases, when I sit down with my clients, they're really astounded as to how much money they can save by doing this, as well as the eco project for their business. In a lot of cases, the money that we save from the financial side actually pays for the entire cost of the eco project. So the return on investment is probably within a year. In some cases, it takes a little bit longer. But ultimately, what you're doing is when you're getting the efficiency from both sides, you can carry those efficiencies both forward into the future. And what you'll end up with is a much more profitable business, a much more efficient business, and a business that's much well equipped to deal with the competition. So that's in the 10 minutes. That's what I got. So I'll be taking questions at the end. Thank you very much.